Hello and welcome to that rare thing of me doing a tank stream, and I'm doing it rather early because I just don't trust my internet at the moment. Like yesterday was actually really bad. It was disconnecting about 3 or 4 times the normal amount, and the fact that there's even a normal amount that my internet is disconnecting at the moment is a bit of a problem. Anyway, so yes, today's patch day on EU at least. I don't know about the other servers, and it's happened. It's finally here. The HD AMX40 in all of its pixelated goodness. The last of the non-HD tanks is now an HD tank. And there is even, in fact, there's a little Easter egg which was discovered by Harkonnen of the Daily Bounce blog, and I'm just going to quickly go over to display capture, and here we have the model. And oh, there we go, it's a resub from Malware right away there. And if you zoom all the way in, oh, well, you can kind of see it. There's a bunch of names, and I can only guess that this is the names of the modelling team that have been slowly and steadily taking all the non-HD models through to HD. So yeah, there's a bit of a little Easter egg in there, and the only way you can see it is with some kind of model viewer like this. So I'll actually put the link in the chat so you can have a look-see yourself. But yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. So yeah, it's the last. That's it. There's no more non-HD tanks in the game. And all that's left at this point is maps, I guess. So, you know, presumably they've moved on to doing that. But yeah, it's it just seemed like a good opportunity to actually take this thing out for a spin, because I've not played it in a little while. I do actually have a tanks replay for tomorrow of this, but it's, you know, the old looking model. So maybe if we have a good game today, I can pair that up. I can have an old and a new game in the AMX40, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So we're just gonna dive right in. Yeah, this is not optimal time wise, because of course Circon starts in like 20 minutes, and Max is already playing as well. But I really wanted to do a stream with the HD AMX40, basically, and persuading either Max or, well, I mean, persuading Max might be possible to play some games at tier 4, but he wouldn't want to do a whole stream at tier 4, because why would you? That would be crazy. And Circon, well, absolutely no chance. Like I probably have to pay Circon actual money to want to platoon at tier 4. Playing at tier 4 is bad enough, but platooning at tier 4 is just going to make things so much worse. So that's what 3 monitors are for. Well, okay, I suppose so. Right. Oh, let's have that view so we can see which tanks are which. So this is it. I don't think there's been any changes to the tank otherwise, not that I saw in the patch notes. So, you know, it's still as badly in need of buffs as it ever was. How are sound levels, by the way? Do let me know. Do let me know what the sound levels are like. Because I've been fiddling with OBS a little bit to try and get the mic gain a little bit higher. I figured out how to boost it over 100%. Anyway, so yeah, it still needs buffs. The MX40 is still, in terms of its balance, in terms of its place in the matchmaking, a rather underwhelming tank, if we're being charitable, even though it is simultaneously the best tank in the entire game. The game's a bit low versus my voice. Okay, I can probably actually turn the in-game sound up a little bit then. It is quite low. Let's try bring it up to a 5th. So yeah, that hasn't changed, and Wargaming has, like, there's I remember a Q&A answer or something from literally years ago at this point. We're probably talking 2014, 2015, and there was one of the devs saying, yeah, it's probably one of the worst performing tanks in the game. And has any particular changes been made to it in the meantime? No, we now have another tier 4 French vehicle, or tier 4 French medium, which is a bit squashier than the AMX40, but you're considering, you know, how rare it is to get top tier, frankly that doesn't matter. So yeah, it's just got a much better selection of guns And that's a big part of what it comes down to. You know, you could make the AMX-40 faster, you could give it a better engine, certainly, but the main thing that makes it terrible is the completely god-awful guns. And the fact that the firepower is barely adequate for when it's top tier, let alone seeing tier 6 games. So, you know, that's a bit of a problem. This is probably one of the most power creeped tanks in the game, although I'm sure there are some other low tier tanks that have also been very, very badly affected over the years. Right, I mean, we've got AP for the moment, but we might need heat or even HE at some point. Hell, even with the gun it's got, they could significantly improve the gun handling and it would still kind of suck as a gun, but it wouldn't suck quite as much. But yeah, no, it does though. Right, that is a Churchill 3, so I'm not even sure we're going to bother with the heat shells. We're just going to load some HE, because quite a lot of the tier 5s you just cannot touch, even with your premium ammo. And let's not forget, and I never have, they once upon a time nerfed the premium ammo of this tank back in the great heat nerf of 7 point whatever it was, or was it 8 point something? Might have been 8 point something. Yeah, they decided in their infinite wisdom that, hey, we're nerfing all the heat shells for these other tanks, so we'd better nerf the AMX-40's heat shell as well. So it lost nearly 10 average penetration. Because, go screw yourself. Yeah, it's not in a happy place, this tank. It's not been in a happy place for a very, very long time. Can I shoot this guy? No, I don't even have the gun to pressure. There we go. Right, we are otherwise being completely overrun at this point. I don't even have the radio range to be in contact with this KV-1 anymore. Man, this tank is not good. And now we're being shot by artillery. We might get a shot on the Chaffee. Wait for the aim time to settle. Also, I can heal my command. Oh, hello, there's the M37. Now we have to have another shot. Oh, never mind, he got killed by the gorilla. So we're off to an absolutely flying start here. Yeah, we might get some top tier games. This is one of the other benefits of playing early, or earlier anyways. We're a bit more likely. We have a slightly better chance of getting some tier 4 top tier games. But, you know, chances are probably not that good. Chances are probably not that good. So, you never know. You never know. It might happen, it might not happen. I guess we'll see. In fact, you know what? I'm going to keep a little tally and see what kind of matchmaking we get. Certainly, the later in the evening you play, the you know, much worse your chances get of getting top tiered, because everybody stops playing the lower tiers because the matchmaking, like, they just get dumped into mid and bottom tier games continually, and so you can't blame them for not really wanting to. Corp and Flygate, that is in fact the game I am going to be putting on the channel tomorrow. And whether or not it comes along with another replay to go with it, I don't know. There is supposed to be a camo. There's supposed to be a camo for this, by the way. They leaked that there was going to be a special AMX-40 camo. It's got little pictures of ducks on it. A bunch of people pointed it out to me, and I have to admit, it looks alright. Looks rather nice. But for some reason that's not in the game, and I don't know why. I have asked in the Friends of Wargaming Discord channel that I have access to, but I have not had any particular answer. I mean, I had a kind of little jokey back and forth with Carbide, the console guy, but of course he doesn't have any information about that. So yeah, and I have also asked why the heck the Clan Wars temporary rental ships in World of Warships still don't have a camo. You can't mount camo on them. They don't come with any camo bonuses, which particularly matters for the destroyers. Because not everybody's got a tier 10 ship, and so therefore Wargaming have, you know, put in rentals. I was second place. Okay then. Yeah, never mind. So, yeah, it's a bit inexplicable. I can only think there's either some... Well, it would have to be a technical reason why they can't do it, or I don't know. I have absolutely no idea. I can kind of see why they maybe wouldn't want to just allow all the normal camos, because people would stack them on and maybe use that to kind of power booster their way through to, you know, grind lower tier ships by getting the tier 10 levels of XP from the Clan Wars battles. But as to why they couldn't then just give the things a special camo that just has the regular camo bonuses and not any of the extra ones that the others can have, I don't know. There is no particular reason I can think of for that. So anyway, tier 5 game again, and a resub from Cyber Wraith. Thank you very much. Mr. Snuggles, I am in fact playing solo. It's just the fact I'm playing tier 4 tanks. You know, the reason why Circon doesn't platoon much in tanks anymore definitely applies here. It's going to be bad enough with tier 4 matchmaking without sticking on the modifier from being in a platoon as well, basically. So we'll try and take the hill, except no we won't. I'm not going to do that in an AMX-40 because that's a really stupid move. Also, their Excelsior might have a lot of fun. Have I got anything that can pen the Excelsior? I don't think I do. Side and rear armour, I might be able to get through some of the weaker areas, but yeah, I don't think I can pen the Excelsior anywhere with my AP ammo. I might be wrong. There might be a weak spot somewhere, but 74 pen, I think the Excelsior is just immune to that. There might be some spots where the heat ammo might be effective though. I don't know. Somebody look that up on Tanks GG. Is there anywhere that I can pen an Excelsior? Is that possible in any way, shape or form? Right, so this is a standard game. This is 100% crew in this thing, by the way. I'm not using food, but it is like they've got 1.5 crew skills. And it's always had the same crew, so even though it's like several hundred games played, it's just because it's a tier 4 tank, and tier 4 tanks, you know, low tier tanks get shafted in terms of XP compared to what you get at the higher tiers. It's one of the things I like about warships. You can, like, XP is far less coupled to what tier you are at. It is possible to have equally as good XP games in a tier 4 ship as it is a tier 8 ship, if you are having a similarly really good performance. Yeah, that Excelsior is just going to sweep through the top of the hill. There's not really a lot to be done about it. They're also going to have a bunch of tank destroyers camping, probably. I suspect this one's just going to be a loss on the basis of they have an Excelsior, which with this matchmaking has actually really good armour. And we have nothing comparable. I mean, a Matilda 4 Lend-Lease Matilda? No. I'm going to go with just no. In fact, the regular Matilda has the best armour, the tier 4 Matilda, because the tier 5 Matilda actually has worse armour, because the turret is garbage. Yeah, this gun, you see, this gun does not do well at any kind of range. The shells are slow, the accuracy is horrible, the handling is god-awful. So, you know, this is not unexpected, I guess. It's fine though, I can use my superior mobility, oh wait, no. Well, I've got my excellent armour to, oh wait, no. There's really nothing to do here. Right, the Lee, I can actually not pen the Lee with my regular ammo. I think I'm going to need the heat shells. I mean, I can pen it, but at this distance it's going to be a bit of a, you know, it's not guaranteed. Oh, for God's sake, come on. Come on, RNG. I know you hate this tank, but still. Oh, wait, those are HE shells, not heat shells. Wait, why are my heat shells on the the 2 key. I mean, I know the 2 key is normal for most people, but okay, we're gonna have to change that around. Okay. Yeah, this is kind of not entirely gone in an unexpected direction. I mean, also, you know, it's not just the Excelsior. I think they had more T67s, or they just had the better T67. Oh, it was one each, so it was just like the better T67, I guess. And there's the M4 improved. I mean, what can you do? Most tier 4 tanks would be kind of shit in this situation. And this one, just more so than most. I wonder if there... Like, I don't actually know what the performance stats are. I don't know if there are worse performing tier 4 tanks than this one. There might be. You know, there's the AC-1, for example. That's pretty bloody terrible. But of the regular tanks, I suspect this is going to be one of the worst ones. Right, at close range, you know, you don't have to worry so much about the aim time or anything like that. But, yeah. So that's another strike 1 for not being top tier. Yeah, this one won't be going too much longer. I suspect this guy is firing full prem because you kind of have to in Matilda 4. The gun's only got about, with AP shells, about 10 more penetration than I do. Stat-wise, the AC-1's better by a mile. Maybe. I don't know. It could be. I mean, it's still got garbage gun handling. In fact, it's actually got worse gun handling than the AMX-40. But it has better DPM. The AMX-40, along with the Valentine, is one of the worst tanks for DPM at tier 4. But the Valentine gets extra penetration and actually arguably slightly better armor. It's not particularly faster, but I mean, I don't think anybody pretends that the Valentine is a particularly good tank either. We could as a combination try like the 47mm, but we would need to load up so much more premium ammo. I think you get a better DPM with that gun, however. But 47mm HE, you know, if you meet a thing you can't paint with the AP or the APCR even, 47mm HE does nothing. Just absolutely nothing. Also, Circon says, haha, no, fuck that, to my suggestion of possibly playing tier 4. But good luck with that shiny new HD model, my friend. Hey, tier 6 game. Okay, let's make a little note. I've literally got a post-it note where I'm making tally marks. just to see how much the matchmaking decides to shaft me. Oh, ammo! I was going to swap the ammo around. Right, I'm going to have to remember. I'm going to have to remember that it's 2 for heat, not 3. So we'll see how we do. I am genuinely disappointed about the camouflage. I was looking forward to that. I was just going to immediately buy that, but for some reason it's not been included in this patch. And I did have a look at the patch notes, but it didn't. Don't think it said anything about why it wasn't included, unless I missed something. I don't know if they officially did say it was going to be. I just know there were a bunch of pictures leaked of it. Maybe it's really meant to be in the next patch. But you would think that this is the patch where it's gone HD. So therefore this would also be the patch where you would be able to get the camo. Doesn't particularly make sense to me, but whatever. If Wargaming doesn't want my money, then so be it. Yeah, having to go up hills in an AMX-40. That's definitely on my wish list for the AMX-40. Better engine. You know, but first off I want a better gun. Better gun before better engine. Absolutely. But for some maps, a better engine would be quite nice. Anyway, we can pen most things here, but for some of these things we definitely need the extra penetration of the heat shells to do it. But yeah, that flank's not looking so peachy. This flank we might be alright with. We have the only heavy tank, but it's a VK3001H, so it's not really a heavy tank per se. Very nice gun on that machine, but it's not like it's over-endowed with an abundance of armour. I tried running it with premium oil. I could do, but then what do you give up? You definitely... a fire extinguisher, I guess? I mean, we might do that then, rather than have the... trying to hit anything at range that isn't perfectly stationary. Yeah, good luck with that. Right, we're going to need to get to some hard cover, or... Actually, no, we're going to need to position ourselves to fly down at the base, I guess. I mean, the model looks good, don't get me wrong. I like how this machine looks now they've put it into HD. As I've been saying all along, they've saved the best till last, but yeah, it could use some love. It's always needed some love. Right, so having crawled painfully up the hill, we're going to... Oh, come on, gun, come on. You can't move at all, you can't move and fire, it just doesn't work. Right, I just got penned by an A20 with regular AP. I thought that thing had a really crap gun, or am I wrong? I mean, it's actually quite decent. Nope. Didn't even... 75mm gun, didn't even track the AMX. Not the AMX, the M3 really. There we go. Right, if I angle against this wee fella, I can bounce. But how is the A20 penning me? You used to have to know weak spots on this thing, but I don't know. I guess armor balance, like it used to be once upon a time you could argue, yeah, the gun's crap and it's slow, but it's got really good armor. But that just doesn't apply anymore. Power creep has you know, progressively affected this thing such that low tier guns have been getting steadily more and more penetration. Like the H35, that used to be an armoured beast at tier 2. And then in particular the low tier British 2-pounders came along and, you know, low damage but very good penetration for their tier. And so there's not really, like, armour doesn't apply except in very specific circumstances at low tiers anymore. So there is no reason for having this thing be balanced this way, and I don't know why Wargaming's never buffed it, even though they have acknowledged years and years ago that it is badly in need of buffs. I don't know. Wargaming has a phobia of ducks, apparently. No, it wasn't... Well, yeah, it's the sloping, but always the collar was a weak point. You kind of had to know about the collar. But there are quite a lot of even same tier tanks, even tier 4 tanks, where, you know, you can be angling and whatever, but it doesn't matter. They have enough penetration to just punch through anyway. So, yeah, and then you get down tiered like this, and the armour is just literally slowing you down. And you would much rather have a better gun, as the tier 4 French medium does. And this is one of the great mysteries. I lamented this fact at the time when the... is this new, this bit of terrain here? Maybe, yeah, I think this is new. I lamented this at the time when the SARL was introduced. Why don't they also just give those guns to the AMX-40? I'm spotted. But for whatever reason, they could not be asked. It seems completely balanced that this thing can see Type 64s, don't you agree? Completely balanced. Type 64s firing a PCR, yeah. Completely balanced, comrade. Yeah, Panzer B2. The French B1 itself, of course, that's another tank where crap firepower, supposedly good armour, and once upon a time that was true. But these days, the supposedly good armour, not so much, but it still has crap firepower, so... We were promised once upon a time that, you know, low-tier tanks would get rebalanced, and it just, you know, never happened. So, there's that. So, yeah, I can see why. You know, even playing the AMX-40 is a bit of an extreme example, but you can see why, even to this day, you get so many anecdotes of people saying, well, I tried to get my friend interested in World of Tanks, and then they hit Tier 4. And just gave up because it was a shit show. You can see why. You can absolutely see why. Well, I was on the move there, Korpenflieger. It wasn't like I was sitting still. But, you know, I'm never going to outspot a Type 64. He did give himself away firing at me, so it kind of helped the team out. It's a really crap game for me, but it helped the team out. But I don't get anything for that. I don't get rewarded for helping the team out in that way, for helping get the win, beyond the fact that I get the amount of XP that this is from a win rather than from a loss. Which, practically speaking, is not going to be that big of a gap. Anyway, the T-3485 seems to have done the lion's share of the carrying in this one. I got 760 spotting. I was a light spotting tank, you guys. Right, let's try, I guess, the premium oil. I don't actually have huge numbers of credits to burn, but you know what? We're not going to run out of credits in the course of a stream playing with premium oil. So there, 512 base XP. I mean, okay. Oh, that's the same screen. Duh, of course it's the same screen. Right, you know what, we'll go with the 10% stuff, which costs 20,000 credits a pop, so we're definitely going to start running down on credits, but it's fine. So anyway, that was a win. It's just, you know, these are all not particularly good wins, but I suppose I'll take wins over losses, but, you know, they're wins where I was along for the ride for the most part, which is generally speaking true when you get down tiered. Hey! Praise be to RNGesus, our first top tier game. Well, there you go. It's happened even in less than an hour that we got a top tier game. Right, the Panzer B2s are going to be annoying, but we can just, like, with AP aimed in the right spot, we can pen a Panzer B2, or even against like the flat side armor, or I could just be dirty and load the heat ammo. Right, so, bearing in mind, you know, there's still loads of things that can pen me. Which flank do I want to go on? And bearing in mind that this is a tier 4 game and therefore it's like, hey, a top tier. Oh wait, everything's going to be chaos. Let's just go ahead this way and see how it goes. We're doing it this coming Saturday, Furion. So the plan is, again, probably Saturday afternoon, couple of hours. We spent a little while, it might actually be effectively a longer session because we spent a little while getting things set up last time, and also there was a bit of technical jiggery pokery in the middle, and I did cut out at one point where we had about a 10-minute break so everyone could go and get something to drink and get some tea and whatever. But like the setup time was probably the time-consuming part, so it might be a little bit longer in terms of the actual play time of the session. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, that is definitely happening. I've actually kind of been roped into another D&D group. This is I got chatting to somebody from my SGTA days. And it was actually to do with the TeamSpeak server. But he mentioned he'd seen the video and that he'd done some D&D himself. And then when he said, well, would you be interested in perhaps joining in? I went, hell yeah. I don't know if I'll be recording that one though. I think that one I might just be just playing because, well, partly it's a group of people I don't know. You know, that's a big factor. The guys I'm with are all Maxwell viewers that I'm relatively familiar with. Right, I am getting spammed to death with Panzer V2 APCR, even with the angling, so that's jolly fun. It's not a surprise that they're firing exclusively APCR though. Not in that thing. But it just goes to show you, you know, yeah, you've got armor, except, yeah, not so much. Right, can we... Right, we really have to hit the top of his turret first to be effective. Nope. We really have to not be subject to the vagaries of RNG, except this gun is crap, so there's that. It's so bad. This gun is just... It's just bad. Right, I just basically need to pull back to a point where some allies can help me with this guy. Actually, let's try our luck with AP. It's probably not going to go that well. But yeah, just look at that list of APCR spam. Because, you know, it's a B2. And the B2, again, has a crap gun. But only ever gets to be top tier. And so you can just do that and overcome the fact that it's a crap gun to some extent. Oh, that actually hit. You know, it was bounced, but it actually hit, which is amazing. Come on. No, side armor, doesn't matter. It's fine. Completely doesn't matter. Why would it matter? We'll give it a go. I mean, they're behind us in our base already. Essentially, this game is kind of largely finished. Because you know, tier 4 game, these things happen fast. Get around behind this guy. Maybe there's the B2. Oh, there's the T28. It definitely has a good enough gun, but I can pen the T28 at least. Come on, reload, 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 reload. Something terrible DPM. Did I mention that part? Because it is pretty terrible. Duck on duck action. If they would just give you the high pen 47mm, like you can't actually pen the side armor of another AMX-40. The high pen 47mm that the SARL gets. I'm actually going for the weak spot there, but such is the amazing accuracy of this gun, it's like, yeah, good luck actually. Nope. Like, unless you're perfectly aimed, and even if you're perfectly aimed, it doesn't actually matter. There we go. Right, heat shell for the Panzer B2. And it's not like you don't have weak spots people can aim for in this thing. And he's definitely got the rate of fire advantage, whereas I need to hit him, what, 3 times? Oh, DW2. Well, actually the DW2's gun is crap, but the bad part is it's gotten me spotted, and there is an SU-85 back there as well somewhere. I mean, I'm just going to die in a hail of APCR spam at this point. It doesn't actually, like, there's no way we're winning this. Oh, come on! Come on, gun! Come on! Don't be shit. Come on. Nope. He could hit me 3 times before I could reload. Oh, well. We'll maybe give the 47mm a go for a couple of games, but we're basically going to be firing almost exclusively APCR ammo. So it's going to be expensive, because low tier APCR is disproportionately expensive for the amount of credits, for the amount of damage it does, but that doesn't stop people spamming it in certain tanks, especially, you know, low tier premium tanks. Right, so, well, I was actually top tier in that game, but hell, tier 4 game. And also, I'm going to be losing credits fairly steadily with this thing. This is not going to be a profitable stream, but anyway. So let's try the SA-35 with a stock turret, which is in some ways, like you can use like it traverses faster. The view range is a little bit worse, but the bounciness of the armor is actually a bit more effective. Does it do anything to your DPM? However, 30.23 rate of fire. No, so the DPM is effectively the same. So yeah, we're actually going to load APR first. APCR even first, and how expensive this is going to be. Quite expensive. I mean, we'll load some standard AP, I guess. Do we even bother with the HE? I'm not sure. 100,000 credits. Let's maybe take that down a little bit. I don't have that many credits. I'm going to be less than 1 million after I've resupplied this ammo. Yeah, 76mm HE, not even 76mm, 47mm HE is just not worth anything at all. So, yeah, this is a very expensive way to play the AMX-40. Very, very expensive. Is the duck camo pattern available? No. There's no explanation as to why it isn't. Just no. It's not available. So, that was a disappointment, to be sure. Anyway, top tier again, and it's on a map where I don't have to drive so far, and there aren't 50 million B2s to contend with, and it's actually not flat tier 2 matchmaking, tier 4 matchmaking either. It's going to be maybe, you know, that rare pleasant game. Make the camo all yellow. You can't have custom colours on tier 4s. I think it's still only tier 8 premiums and tier 10s. So that's not an option, sadly. Right, so, this might actually have better gun depression, this turret. I think it does. I think it's still the case in tanks that gun depression is tied to your turret rather than the actual gun. But I could be wrong about that. Right, the sextant might be annoying.
Your business is appreciated.
Right, spotted by something. Probably will take it on the side. It's a cheeky wee chaha. Right, this does have the benefit of better gun handling, but it's still pretty crap gun handling considering it's a 47mm gun. Why would you do that? I don't know. Right, the heads is going to be a problem. Right, I think this might be not a good position, actually. But the problem is we don't really have a front line so much. So if I back up this side... The armor's holding up a little bit so far. But that Chiha is basically just in the open. So I can use this wrecked building to get forward a bit where I can shoot it. Right, can I not bounce? I know it's, you know, amazing OP low tier Japanese armor, but can I not bounce, please? Right, there we go. I think the combination of the lighter turret and the... Oh god, here's the head, sir. The combination of the lighter turret and the... Right, oh, onto the APCR. Right, can I pen the lower plate at all with this gun? I don't know that I can. Basically ignore the Panzer 1C. Yeah, I don't actually think I can pen a Hetzer frontally with this gun. I think it might be impossible. But it's fine, I'll just drive around him. Oh wait, no. Yeah, I know I'm in a light tank, but... Whoop. Right, go to the AP now. This is the part where the extra turret traverse does come in really very useful. Come on, fix the tracks, there we go. Whoa! Right, I think his gun's not very good. Oh, come on! But mine's not very good either, so that's alright then, I guess. Right, there's the tank destroyer. We know where the Panzer 1C is. It's getting a little bit silly. See, when you're top tier like this, the gun actually kind of works. Having that better rate of fire. Better DPM, crucially. Not even the rate of fire, it's the better DPM. Right, where are you, Panzer 1C? Right, I'm a little bit lonely right now. There's me and a UE-57. A Panzer 1C that can run rings around me, and doubtless the FT can just punch through my armor with ease. And what is that, T-40? So, you know, the armor, it means nothing, essentially. Oh, well, there we go. T-40 got me. But, you know, I was a little bit alone and unsupported. Yeah, so this gun, you know, it's terrible, but it's better, but it's still terrible, and it's only better if you're top tier, which is a hell of a risk to take when you're playing a tier 4 tank. That's still the best result we've had, though. God, that was an ace tanker. That was enough for an ace tanker. Oh, also, yeah, behold the glory that are tier 4 games. That was 7 people who did 0 damage. I don't even know. Right, but yeah, that was, that's actually, having said a couple of games, that's way too expensive to do that. Even a couple of games. I'm down nearly 100,000 credits just from outfitting and putting all that ammo in there. So yeah, that was a bit of an expensive exercise in proving that, hey, it can work if you get top tier, but you know, you're going to get a lot of games where you're not top tier. Would it be better with should we maybe try having premium food for a couple of games? We've got a couple of those in stock. We'll see if that particularly makes a difference. I don't think it really will, but yeah. Yeah, what is the gun depression on this thing, on this gun with this turret? I don't think it's quite as good. Where are we? -7, yeah. If they would give you the 47mm, if they would just give you the 47mm that you can mount on the SARL 42. Hey, top tier again. Streamer hacks confirmed. Yeah, if they would just give you that 47mm. It doesn't even get APCR, but it has good enough base penetration and not completely shockingly bad gun handling. If I'm half credits, just play the Missouri. I am theoretically trying to save up for like tier 9 and tier 10 tanks. I just don't play world tanks enough, and I'm certainly not going to be grinding oodles of credits when I keep doing things like that. Anyway, so back to the crap but at least reasonably hard hitting 75mm. We might actually have somewhat better gun handling considering that we're using the food. I could maybe try going for Brothers in Arms on this crew, or repurpose a crew for this tank with Brothers in Arms. Hell, I could actually maybe get a female French crew for this tank. So they basically start off with Brothers in Arms, but I don't know. Is it worth doing that? On the other hand, yes. I don't think it would make a huge difference, but you could at least put ventilation on. And it would be marginally better. I mean, I could go and sit down there and try and side scrape off the corner, but there's not much point, I don't think. Having said that, that's a lot of enemy tanks there. But quite a few of them could do bad things to me without much effort. Quite a lot of T-29s around, you know, the gift tank. That was the Christmas one, wasn't it? That was, it's not very good. I'm not quite sure why there's that many people playing it, to be honest. Got tiny, just a tiny bit of movement, and it's like, oh, no, well, there you go. Maximum bloom. Bounce! Bounce on a T-28 turret. Marvellous, amazing, fantastic. This thing, it truly is OP. Oh, Jesus Christ. Most of the last game was fairly close range fights. I think even so it would maybe be a slightly better gun for this kind of fight, but you're going to be struggling to actually pen things. There we go. Question is, do I try and press up over the open? Maybe. We do have some tanks on the hill, so theoretically they could fly down and help. Theoretically, this is that dangerous counting on teammates part, which always seems to go so horribly wrong. But the enemy tanks that are here are largely just kind of sitting here, not being super active or aggressive. Right, he's dangerous. That's the Cruiser 2. So, got the dirt gun. It's one of the few low-tier tanks that has worse gun handling than this. Oh, he's not using it though. He's using the using a littler gun. Right, there is a Lee, or it was a Lee back here somewhere. Oh, thank you whoever barged into me, that was useful. Right, professional seal clubbing Stuart, who knows? Would you stop barging into me, for the love of God? Okay, thanks, bye. Anyway, not that I'm getting irritated or anything. Was maybe a tiny little bit of an annoyance when you're trying to, you know, not get shot and whatever, and somebody's just continually barging into you. Anyway, Panzer 1Cs, truly the one tank that you never have to worry about. Yeah, the Cruiser 2 derp is just so much more fun, though. Like, the thing has got no armour, it's slow, the gun takes literal ice ages to aim, but it is ridiculous. It is the KV2 of its tier. So, that makes up for a multitude of sins. The AMX-40, well, it's cute. And, did I mention it's cute? It's about the only thing it truly has going for it is how amazing it looks. Truly, it is the best looking tank in the game. Whoop, there's the Hetzer. Does have a dangerous gun, but I'm getting the spotting damage at least. Oh, and there's the kill. We actually, is he behind a rock? Must be behind a rock. Oh, there he is. Aim, 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 aim. Oh, and another pen. Oh well. Not spectacular damage-wise, but this was actually an okay game, I guess. It's fun when you can be top tier. Isn't it odd how that works? How being top tier doesn't completely suck balls, even in a machine that kind of sucks balls. I got a crate token apparently. What the heck is a crate token? I don't know. I kind of like skimmed the patch notes for this, to be honest. Personal reserves, we could actually activate. You know what? We could activate a crew personal reserve. We don't really need an XP personal reserve. Right, 300% crew, which we absolutely, you know, should have done earlier on. But anyway, is it worth having ventilation to stack with the coffee? I guess so. 50,000 credits is doable. Okay, let's have the vents to stack with the coffee, and then we can have an amazing, an OP 127% crew, which is the best you can get without Brothers in Arms. Man, you really have to buff the crew on this thing for the gun handling to start to be acceptable. If you were doing this kind of thing on a Matilda at that point, it would just be blatantly overpowered. Oh, well, it wasn't going to last forever. Back to a tier 5 game. Also, I am just, while we're counting down, going to get myself some water, so I'll be right back. So, yeah, this is definitely going to be more of a second line, you know. At least we have heavies this time. Although it's 2 versus 3, but one of our 2 is an experimental, and each side has a KV1 at least. So, yeah. Right. The question is, where the heck do I go? Not actually sure. I can either go. I mean, I guess I go on this flank. I think I'm safer off travelling with the pack, or rather, should I say, travelling with the flock, because I'm in a duck, of course. Is that a duck KV1? I think so. Yeah, I think that's a duck KV1. Okay. Anyway, let's see how we do with vents on top of everything else. We're not going to make a huge difference. Whoa, don't shoot me in the back of the turret, KV1. Plus, I would not enjoy it as an experience, I'm pretty sure. I'd ban you, Ginge, but you know, then you'd only rebel, and Terminator would happen, probably. Ginge is the genesis of Skynet. Everybody knows this. Or something. Are we still doing the Ginge is a bot joke? I don't know. Anyway, right. Can I hit this AMX-40? Not AMX-40, M3 Lee. You know, that thing has way more fans than the AMX. Wow, that actually penned. If I sound surprised, it's only because I am. Whoa. Oops. Well, he kind of just appeared out of nowhere, or practically. The OI experimental does move very, very well, more than you would think for a tank of that size. Right, looks like the G1B isn't doing so well. But the T67, you know, the omnipresent T67, there's always a T67, is definitely a threat. The question is, where is the T67 exactly? It's amazing how much of a power gap there is, even just from tier 4 to tier 5. Right, going from tier 3 to tier 4 feels less extreme than tier 4 to tier 5. It's one of the bigger jumps in the game. And then tier 5 to tier 6 maybe, again, doesn't feel so big, but tier 6 to tier 7 kind of is, and then you get from tier 7 to tier 8, and that's one of those bigger gaps again. One of those rare times when I can go down to fine. I'll use my light tank camo bonus and spot from some bushes. That'll definitely work. It's amazing how dependent you end up on the rest of your team when you get down tiered at low tiers. Whoa. Like completely dependent. Some tier 4's a bit less so than others, and it's kind of generally true across all tiers, but yeah. It's like they, you know, picked all the worst qualities they could for a gun and just went, right, we're gonna go with the 90% of those on the MX-14. But it's clearly to make up for how OP the looks of it are, right? Yeah, that'll be it. They've still got an Excelsior running around somewhere. Okay, right, this is a bit of a mess. We're probably going to get capped out. Like, how am I going to get back in time? There's a bunch of houses in the way. There's just no way. KV1, I can't even touch a KV1, I don't think. So they're giving me like flat armor or something. Hell, if they would just give it like good, I don't know, you know, you could give it good view range, you could give it other things. But Wargaming have just, I don't know, sat on their hands forever and ever, for years, probably 5+ years, since they admitted, hey, this thing is terrible, it could use some love. And rather than actually give it some love, rather than actually loving the duck, and who hasn't wanted to love a duck, I don't know, I just ignored it and let it languish. Unsurprisingly, the T-67's murdered everything. It's fine now, I'll just take on a KV-1 and an Excelsior. Come on. Nope. If I could even hit something, that would be nice. But clearly that would be a bit too much of a luxury. Be overpowered if you could actually hit enemy tanks with this thing. Right, sod it, let's go for the T-67. Otherwise he's just going to come up behind me. If I could kill a T-67, that would be moderately satisfying. Come on, come on, come on. Well, now we're just doing this, apparently. Yeah, somebody cue the Benny Hill theme. He was just playing for time until the cap. He fired APCR at me, by the way, in a T-67. This is what you have to contend with in your Tier 4 tanks. Don't know how he didn't pen me with his APCR, but I think it was just because it was a tracking shot. Anyway, yeah. You're never going to carry a Tier 5 game. Well, you're going to struggle to carry a Tier 4 game just because of how slow it is, but you're certainly never going to have any appreciable impact on high tier games, like 99.9% of the time. There's going to be that occasional very rare exception, of course, but it is going to be a very rare exception. Right, another Tier 5 game. I suspect the majority of the time will be Tier 5 games, rather than getting completely unlucky and getting Tier 6 games. But even Tier 5 games really suck. Because of T-67s and OI experimentals and Excelsiors and KV-1s and Churchills. And hell, even things like T-14s. You just can't pen. It doesn't matter which gun you're using. And even if you fired all HE, you don't have enough ammo. It's one of those tanks where, you know, all of the ammo has some place, but you just then don't really have enough of it. Right. We're gonna, I don't know, do the silly thing and... no, we're not gonna go to that corner. Nobody's going to that corner. Well, sod that then. Yeah, I don't know what this team's doing. This is interesting. This is some kind of tactic. I don't think it's going to be a tactic that wins anything, but it's certainly some kind of tactic. I probably shouldn't be... I should let other people knock buildings down. I don't have the ammo to waste. I definitely do not have the ammo to waste. You know what? Stuff it. We're gonna... The other experimental, not the tank it was. You're probably right. I mean... It's not like I play a huge amount of this game these days, but... You still don't want to face one in an AMX-40? Just saying. Might not be the monster it was with the 300 damage gun or whatever ridiculous amount of alpha it had, but you don't want to face any tier 5 heavy tank in this thing. Right, also, has the sound just gone weird for everybody else? Because it's gone weird for me. What's going on there? Then, okay, I don't know, the sound's just gone a bit peculiar for some reason. Yeah, it's super quiet and I'm kind of only getting it through one headphone on my end. Could not tell you why. But you know, a little bit busy right now, so we're gonna have to fix it after this game. Right, well, we've got this end of the map, so that's what matters, right? Yeah, I don't know if this is the game having suddenly gone wonky or else if it's my computer somehow. But... okay, that was a bounce. Of course it was. It's fine. I am Scout AMX-40. Da. Oh, and found the T67. Of course I fucking have. Gotta love T67s, hey? The time it took me to pull back with my amazing mobility, because I'm a light tank, right? He got to take most of my hit points away. So that was marvellous. Can I get to safety? Because otherwise I'm just going to be sat behind that rock doing nothing. I've just about made it. Oh, okay, so I'm going to have to restart the client. Okay. Sorry, I mean, you know, it was going to be inevitable that I would swear at some point playing tier 4 tanks. Even if it's the best looking of the tier 4 tanks. Because it just exposes so many of the problems that I have with this game in terms of matchmaking, in terms of balance. And it represents a fairly big reason of, you know, those represent fairly big reasons why I just don't play World of Tanks anymore. Outside of fairly rare occasions. And why I have such a critical eye sometimes for World of Warships, because I don't want that to go the same way. Yeah, I'm basically just stuck here now. Can't push up on that flank because of the T67. And hey, they had a Churchill 1 there as well. So, yeah. Our tier 5s just were not very good. And again, I was along for the ride, just trying to do what I could, and it then not being very much. So you know what, we're just gonna sit here, contemplate the sky, here in the desert. Shouldn't a duck be heading to water? I wouldn't even make it. Seriously, the T67 would pick me off well before I could get to the get to the ocean. And bear in mind, you know, this is almost as good as the AMX-40 can be in terms of crew stats. Doesn't get much better than this. Just lacking brothers in arms. It's the only thing. Oh, come on. Okay. Alright, he's going to pen me, and... oh, it's just the one that got me. Right, we're going to have to do a restart because apparently there's a sound bug with the client. I'm actually not getting any sound at all at the moment coming through my headphones, so... yeah. That's a really odd bug, and kind of an annoying one. It's not something that pops up in replays, which is possibly why I haven't encountered it before, but yeah, let's give that a restart. Also just check my Windows sound settings very quickly. No, that hasn't magically reset itself or any such thing, so it is the World of Tanks client that's derped out. So do bear with me while we have technical issues of the World of Tanks client being buggy. It's not something one can really do much about. Well, it gives me a chance to paste the copy the link that I put in the chat earlier on and actually showed on the stream at the start where, yeah, zoom in on that and you'll be able to see the little Easter egg that they left inside the HD client, which is a fun little Easter egg, I think. I'm trying not to swear, you guys, by the way. I am trying not to, you know, get irritated or just overly annoyed about things, but you try playing tier 4 consistently and see how you do. A little bit of irritation might also creep in, is all I'm saying. Right, yeah, let's continue on. I don't know how long this is going to be, by the way. It's not going to be a super long stream. Another hour, maybe another 2 hours. Maybe, if I can stand to go that long. But definitely another hour. Right, oh, top tier again. Okay, I'll take that. Yeah, I watched that. The Falcon Heavy, yeah. It was a pity they didn't recover the central booster, but just the entire concept, the fact that they could even pull off part of it, getting the 2 side boosters to land, it's quite a remarkable feat of engineering. So that was jolly interesting watching all that. Right, here we go. Sound is now as it should be. Yeah, I watched the press conference afterwards. Well, I say I watched it. I was watching a KSP streamer and they went and then switched over to the press conference. Is this guy giving me a little boost? I think he is. Yeah, oh god, Cruiser 4. I would so much rather be playing the Cruiser 4 than this thing. So, yeah, it was interesting watching that, and then them confirming that, yeah, the central booster had gotten a bit knackered, ran out of fuel, just hit the water way too fast, and then that was that. T-28. We're not really concerned about the Panzer 1C, as per usual. I might be assigning motives to this T-29 that's entirely too nice. We might just be using me as, like, spaced armour. Don't die, Panzer 1C. How is that Stuart still alive? I don't know, because it's a tier 4 game. Also, this has changed. I've moved the big monastery area. Right, let's just go for it. Let's just gang up on this T-28 that doesn't know we're here. Right. So far so good, but there is also a Vespa and this Stuart's still running around. We might see if we can't spot and take out the Panzer 1C. The Stuart's probably fallen back to their own lines. That Stuart, though, was just like, whee, all the way around there, right through multiple friendlies. And got away with it, because tier 4. No, he's doing it again. Right, there's the Panzer 1C. I'm not quite sure why I'm taking this route, by the way. Reasons. I can get a bit of nice downhill speed going. That's kind of what I'm going for. This enemy team's dying at a rate of knots, though. There's going to be one of those games where it looks like we were going to win it, but we're going to win it so fast that I don't get to do any damage because I'm in a slow-ass tank. Yeah. Oh well. Man, this thing could do with a better engine. Oh, hello. Are you trying to give me a push again? Not sure. I think at this point he's just trying to go forward and do some damage himself. Oh, there's the Cruiser 2. Come on, pedal faster, a little bit more oomph. There are worse tanks in the game for power to weight ratio, but it's probably not going to be a long list. No, I'm not going to get a shot on this Cruiser 2, am I? It's not seeming likely. Yeah, that's definitely possible, Atika Mafia. That's how physics works. That's how the motion of planetary bodies definitely works. And the only reason they're not doing it is because they're lazy. That's it. That'll have run out of charge now, actually, the Tesla. Right, we're going to need the filthy, filthy heat shells, aren't we? Well, they're not even that filthy, as I mentioned earlier. This thing actually had its heat shells nerfed during the great heat nerf of, what was it, 8.6? Hey, damage! I think it was 8.6. I stole nearly 10 average penetration. Because clearly it was performing far too well prior to that point. Man, having seen the Cruiser 4 in that game, I actually now I'm seriously tempted just to go and play the Cruiser 4 for the rest of the stream. But no, we're going to be good. Playing the Cruiser 4 for the rest of the stream would kind of be seal clubbing. This, on the other hand, I can say definitely isn't seal clubbing because it's just not good enough to seal club with. So apologies if you can hear me trying to stealthily blow my nose. Well, maybe not so stealthily. Right, there we are. I promise I'm done for now. Hey, it's a 6 game. Okay. The overall win rate's not actually been too bad. It's just I feel like I've not really done very much in terms of contributing to said win rate. That must be it, Korpenflieger. There are people that have got way better stats in the AMX-40 than me. But I'm going to guess at least
Your business is
that is in part most of those people have put far better crews in theirs than I've got in mine. Well, it's still not a bad crew. Also, thank you very much for the follow, Grob. Although I should warn you, I don't play tanks on stream very often. But I do feature tanks on my YouTube channel, like, a lot. So, yeah, if you want to see more tanks content from me, go and hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Whereas on stream, I do play quite a lot of World of Warships. So if you also like that, then stick around. But, I mean, there's also Warship stuff on YouTube as well. Anyway, so that's enough pimping out my channel. But, you know, all those links are down below, so go and check them out at any time. Hey, KV2, that's going to be fun. Oh god. It's completely fair that Tier 4s can see the KV2 and the Type 64 and what else at Tier 6? Like the 122mm. Like, well, you know, it used to be, you'd say, oh, the KV1, the KV1S rather, at Tier 6, but of course now it's the KV122. Although you can still, like the KV, oh god, what's the one at tier 6 now? I forgot the name. Anyway, that one, that can still mount a big gun. It can still mount a 122mm gun. It's just it's got really terrible handling and reload. But yeah, we don't see them that often. KV-85, there we go, saved by the chat. 100mm is by far the better gun to use on the KV-85, or is it an 85mm? Can't even remember what the top gun on that one is. I think this one's a loss, by the way. I mean, we've just started and we've already kind of lost. But hey, welcome to World of Tanks, I guess. The glory of being bottom tier and finding that all your top tier tanks are crap. Possibly not all of them, but enough of them to matter. This is over already. Oh well. It's one of the things I like about warships is you can still get games like this. You can still get games where it just ends up being a completely one-sided wipe. But it's a lot less common. It does not happen nearly as often. And even if you're in this situation, even if you are significantly down-tiered, it doesn't matter as much. Just because of the different mechanics, the way the game works. Right, that was an HE shell to the side. Couldn't actually track him. There we go. Took two 75mm HE shells to track him. Which makes all kinds of sense. The second one didn't even do any damage. But even in your, your terrible undergunned tier 4 cruiser. Well, you can't even get into a tier 6 game in a tier 4 cruiser. Let's say your tier 5 cruiser in a tier 7 game. You can always just load the HE. Just set some fires. There might be other reasons why a ship is terrible, but you always have that option. Yeah, and I'm firing HE at the moment, but that's because you can't fire through the obstacles with the heat, but never mind. T-24 is about to do for me anyway. Oh, never mind. It's going to be the SU. Or the Nords? Oh, I can't actually repair my tracks. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Reload, reload. Set him on fire. Okay, that was just sheer damn luck. Anyway, yeah, that team was crap, though. Stug 4 has skirts. Is that going to be enough to... Well, I suppose it's terrible HE, so that will be enough to eat the HE. But I hit him... I'd still tracked him, even though it... I don't know if it hit the skirt or whatever, but it still tracked him. It took 2 shots to track him. It's just the second shot that actually tracked him also did no damage. Right, well, that was the glory of +2 matchmaking right there in a nutshell. Tier 5 game. And, oh, okay. I was going to say, oh, the enemy team doesn't have a T-67 for a change, but they have a Lefebvre RT, so, okay, rip. That's not going to be fun. Ripper, as far as I know, they haven't changed the Missouri's concealment. There wasn't anything about it in the patch notes. 12? Is 12.2 what you have now? Because 12.2 sounds about right if you're going for maximum concealment. Right, well there's quite herds going this way. We've got like nobody really defending, but well actually having said that, no, there's a bunch of tanks there. This is one of those. It's one of those tanks where you just you can't really go right. I'm going to stick myself here and defend, unless you're somehow top tier. And even when you're top tier, good luck with that. Whoop! Put that block there. Right, there's a crested duck down there. Actually, I do have to be careful with the gun on that thing. No. You're definitely misremembering, Ripper. You cannot. You've never been able to get the Missouri or the Iowa down to 9.1. As Nikos says, the New Orleans gets 9.1. You must be thinking of that. But the Missouri / Iowa, no. I'm trying to think what is the best battleship concealment tier per tier. It's like the Monarch, right? I don't think the Monarch even gets below 10 kilometers. And the Monarch is very, very good for a battleship. So, yeah, that's just you misremembering, I'm afraid. Oh, hello. Did I actually pen with an AP shell? That must have just been a really high pen roll. Yeah, this is not a fight I want to be in with a Churchill wall. Although I think he's using the 6-pounder gun, which is less bad. Can still easily punch through my armor though. If you're wondering about the use of HE, by the way, I mean a lot of the times when you know the heat isn't even going to be enough, you might as well get a little bit of damage, even if it's only a little bit, because it's better than nothing. You would much rather have just a tiny bit of damage. Hands 4H just come around behind them. I don't actually have enough gun pressure here. So a bit of a low pen roll. Was that necessary, T67? I'm not sure that was necessary. Mind you, I've been firing heat at the other guy, so that was definitely not necessary either. Right. Stunned AMX-40. Does very, very well, as we can see. That's now the Lafayette firing at me, I think. Okay, let's now switch to the Panzer IV. Hot damn, this thing needs a better power to weight ratio, and a better gun, and better matchmaking, and etc, etc, etc. Needs many and lots improvements. Right. Oh, I actually went for the low health guy. Oh, but the other artillery hit me, so that was nice. Don't actually have spotting on me anymore though, so maybe I should put spall liner on. I don't know. It might benefit a bit from the spall liner. That's one of the other many downsides to being slow, is the armor doesn't help you that much when it comes to artillery, even artillery these days. But the slow speed sure does not help. Slow speed absolutely kicks your ass. If I can get an HE shell into the superstructure before somebody else... Nope! Before somebody else steals the shot. Yeah, the DPM's fairly terrible. It needs a better everything. I think you're not wrong there, Ralak. Hell, if they wanted the AMX-40 to be all about the armour, you know, they could make the armour better. They could actually make the armour worth a damn. And instead, the best armoured thing at this tier is the Matilda, which up tiers not terribly to tier 5. Wow, the Lafayette's so balanced, right, guys? So balanced. But But, you know, even then it's not going to do that well. Right, so what's left? You know what, we might as well just sit here. There's no way I'm getting to that, Stuart. There's no way. Just sit here and look pretty in the sunlight, in the winter sun. They did do a very good job with the model. Wait, how do I... Oh, there we go. Although, we're not going to get the... I'm at the maximum FOV at the moment, so we'd need slightly better. Yeah, one of the nice things is that the camo no longer looks completely crap, because there used to be these big bold patches where the camo didn't quite map properly. Could get cap points. I suppose I could have tried to get myself round to the cap in time, but I don't think there would have been even time for that, really. It's just too slow. Well, we're still continuing to not make any credits, but it's fine, I guess. You might know, by the way, I do actually have the Valentine in my garage. It's like the one tank that is arguably worse than the AMX-40. Even though the guns are better, it's just got a really bad DPM. Whatever gun you use, essentially. So you can use a much better 75mm, but it actually has a worse DPM, I think, than the AMX-40. But you at least get a bit more reliability in terms of penetration and damage. On a tier 6 game. Let's hope our tier 6s aren't completely terrible. It's really not hard to come up with ways that you can buff it, is it? It's really not hard. That's the thing that's always baffled me the most about this, and quite a few other low-tier tanks, mid-tier tanks, where they do particularly badly with the +2 matchmaking. It's really not difficult to figure out how you can make them better. And yet Wargaming, for the most part, just never does. And that's the reason it's weird to me, is that this is the introduction to the game. This is what everybody has to go through. And Wargaming always seems to, I don't know if this is just like a Russian / Belarusian company kind of attitude, where it's just like a shrug of the shoulders and, well, you know, either they'll get used to it or they'll quit playing. It's like, why wouldn't you want to make this a better experience for new players? I don't know. It might be something to do with company attitude / you know, regional, national attitudes, but who knows? But it's certainly one of the reasons why Will of Tanks has kind of stalled. It's definitely past its heyday in terms of, hey look, we've got bazillions of people playing, and we're breaking server records for a number of people simultaneously on a single server, and, you know, stuff like that. Oh, and a host from Quojan, thank you very much for one viewer, but it's always amusing seeing that host, of course, the host icon. Right, I've gotten here just in time to realise that it's a terrible mistake, and once again the top tiers are kind of shite, to put not too fine a point on it. In fact, this team is actually possibly worse than last time. Right, man. Oh, this gun depression. Actually get the lower front plate. No? Commander's hatch. This is heat, bear in mind. No? Is there anywhere I can pen this guy frontally? With my premium ammo? Because it kind of seems like not. Nope. I cannot pen him frontally with premium ammo. So that's fun. Yeah, wow, this team was bad. We're only just hitting the 3-minute mark. In fact, we're not even going to hit the 3-minute mark. We're going to hit the 2.5-minute mark. This team was awful. Okay then. It's so fun to play bottom tiers, you guys. It's so fun to play bottom tiers. Yeah, Corp and Flyga, I'm not sure running away would have really helped much. Do you? Just look at the team list right now. We might make it to the 3-minute mark, though. Maybe. I don't think we're going to make it to the 3-minute mark, but we might do. Nope. The answer is no. We couldn't even make it to the 3-minute mark. I remember asking them this, Anders fan. What was the context? It was some kind of like Skype Q&A session, like way back when I was a community contributor and obviously way more involved with tanks still. And well, I was not last place. My only damage was from that little nudge he gave me at the end, and I was still not last place. Look at this M6. Okay then, these were our top tiers. But I remember asking them, would they even consider it? Would they actually try it out on a public test server? Will you try doing +1 matchmaking? And the answer was just a categorical, immediate no. So for whatever reason, Wargaming, just as a like almost a religious point of philosophy at this point, seems utterly unwilling to consider +1 matchmaking. And I think I could tell you why, but I still don't think it's a very good reason. And I think they just have a horror of having anything less than the very speedy matchmaking queues that we currently have. And it would also mean lots of rebalancing. They would have to do a lot of rebalancing. You know, some machines, like the MX40, if you have +1 matchmaking, it would still need buffs. It wouldn't need as big buffs as it currently needs, but it would still need buffs. That's the state the AMX40 is in. But there are some tanks which actually could conceivably need nerfs for +1 matchmaking. You know, just of the low tiers I'm thinking of. But you look at all the tiers, and yeah, there's certainly lots of tanks that would need buffs and nerfs. And they could do what they've done exactly with World of Warships, as you point out. Up to tier 4 gets +1 matchmaking. But the thing with World of Warships is that then, like, it's nicer for the new players, but the fact that it's not universal +1 matchmaking means that it then creates this dead zone, if you like, at tier 5 and tier 6, where you get down tiered a lot, and I mean a lot. Being top tier in a tier 5 or tier 6 ship is a comparatively rare experience these days. And once upon a time, you know, I would have said tier 5, tier 6 is you know, for a new player, you know, you get to tier 5, you play around with the different ship classes, your cruisers, your battleships, you decide what you like, it doesn't take you long to get there, you can derp around, you can have a lot of fun. That's easier said than done when you get consistently put into tier 7 and tier 8 games. And it's less bad than being down-tiered in World of Tanks, but it's still not great. And if you're getting that as a consistent experience, you know, it's nicer when you're going up through tier 4 and you know you're never going to have to see +1. It actually works pretty well for those tiers where you do only have the +1. But at that point, you know, it just kind of shifts the problem. So really, I don't know. Like they could do it either so you'd still have, you know, +1 matchmaking up to say tier 7, or +1 matchmaking. I think they're just turtling hard, this enemy team. I'm not sure. There's a couple of tanks on the 8-9 line. Or else, I don't even know, you could just have +1 matchmaking all the way. But I think at least at tiers 8, 9, 10 you would probably still have you would still need +2. This Panzer III is just having all kinds of fun, apparently. Man, trying to fire on the move with this gun. Good luck with that. Come on! Really? ×2 crit damage. There we go. Oh god, this gun is so bad. It handles so badly. So yeah, I mean, either you shift it so it's like +1 till much higher tiers, till tier 7 or tier 8, or you just have +1 all the way. Personally, I would not mind that if they had +1 up till say tier 7. But then you're getting the tier 7s getting down tiered a lot, so to some extent, you're just shifting the problem around. But just how it is in World of Tanks. I mean, it's now what +1 matchmaking only up till tier 3, isn't it? I don't think tier 3s can see tier 5s anymore. But it's just like the whole concept just is creaky essentially, and you can see why. A bunch of people jumped ship to World of Warships, and other people really wanted to jump ship to Armoured Warfare, and then that wasn't necessarily what they were after. Well, there's half my health gone. Yeah, the F-30 is not the most balanced machine. Doesn't exactly have a lot of armour. It's still a T-28, but then the T-28, the old T-28, that could mount that gun as standard. It's funny, they took that gun off it because, hey, it's not balanced, but then they stuck it back in as a premium tank. Because reasons. Well, not because reasons, because, you know, they knew it wasn't balanced, but they wanted to make some money. So, I mean, I'm really hoping Wargaming, you know, like Leicester doesn't let World of Warships get to the state that World of Tanks is in, say, 4 years' time from now. But it could happen. But yeah, the F-30, though, I mean, that's basically what tier... Very good, high tier, like tier 5 gun. Oh, the MG is there as well. Can I get down below? Problem is the SU-5, like here I have cover from the SU-5. I don't have cover from the SU-5 otherwise. Well, that was an extremely lucky hit. I don't think I'm going to get that. Well, maybe. Nope. You never know when you're going to get another extremely lucky hit, but 38T still there. We're going to try our luck. Thing is, can I do this without being spotted? Right, there we go. Oh, no, I was spotted. I'm trying to do this in a way that keeps me out of the range of the artillery. I know the M3G is a one-shot. Whew! Okay, that was not aimed, that was very lucky. With this gun, very, very lucky. Well, you kind of have a point there, Mawo, but what, you know, Wargaming is trying to do, you know, it is a free-to-play game. They're trying to get the widest possible player base. That doesn't necessarily include, you know, going for skill-based matchmaking or tightening of RNG or whatever. But the matchmaking issue, the balance mismatch between higher tiers and lower tiers especially, that actively puts off players and possible paying customers. And at that point, you know, that's a problem for them, surely. And there's a reason why it's fallen off in terms of its popularity as a game. But it's still popular enough for people to try and be, you know, imitating it. Oh, hello, Matilda. The Matilda's a problem. But the HE is actually being surprisingly effective here. Never mind. Okay, I guess we just come up behind those remaining enemy tanks. They're not particularly huge threats. Blitz! World of Tanks Blitz! They are tightening it from plus minus 25 to plus minus 10. I think maybe in part that's an experiment to tighten up the RNG and see how it does. Because if they screw it up massively, that is just inherently going to be a smaller market for them than the PC version of World of Tanks. But yeah, it's just a fact. I think that it has been around for a while. There is now just an inherent conservatism in the devs in not wanting to make radical changes at this point. And other games have. Other games have been in that situation where they've been around for a while and they just, you know, they have an overhaul to correct things that players don't like anymore, to try and appeal once again to to new players. How can I not see this guy? There we go. So, it's not exactly without precedent that a company should do such a thing, but the head honchos at World of Tanks don't seem particularly, you know, they don't seem to want to do that, so, yeah. Oh, well, looks like I'm not going to get my Top Gun. We're capped. Never mind. We didn't need to, but never mind. Right, this might be the best game we've had overall. Not the best in terms of damage. We did have that ace tanker defeat on Wide Park, but, yeah. Hey, this one, at least we got to have a win. If there's a sadder low-tier French tank than this thing, it's the AMX-38. That's another tank that needs a lot of love. There's just so many low-tier tanks in particular that just are crap. Even when they're top-tier, they are crap. Anyway. I think my idea of, oh, I'll play this for, you know, another 2 hours was probably a bit optimistic. I think what we'll do is I'll have another couple of games. We'll take it up to around, I don't know, not too long after the 2 hour mark. And then I shall call the stream there, and then I have to go and work on a video anyway. And I think I'm playing with somebody in the not too distant future as well. Yeah, in about an hour's time I've got a Patreon to play with, a patron person. Depending if my internet holds up, of course. I had to kind of call it off early yesterday because I must have disconnected more than a dozen times during the evening. It was really bad yesterday, and it was really bad from quite early on as well. Normally it doesn't start disconnecting until about 5-6 PM my time. The first time it disconnected yesterday, post midday, was like just after 1. A couple more disconnects through the afternoon, and then from about 5 o'clock onwards it was two disconnections an hour kind of thing. It was frequent. I think it got a little bit less bad as it went on, but still. Anyway, another tier 5 game. I need to make my little tally, because why not? We have had a decent number of top tier games, but I think that's more to do with the time of day we're playing at than anything else. So it hasn't been too bad in that regard. It certainly could have been a lot worse. If I'd been trying to do this at like 9 PM, I think would have been just getting way more consistently just tier 5, tier 6 games. Far fewer tier 4 games. Stop moving! My shells are terrible. I can't hear you if you keep moving. God, they're so slow. The gun handling's so dirty. It's like, what you gonna do? Cross your fingers and pray to our Jesus and hope. Oh, tracked him. Not sure how I'm not spotted at the moment. No, it's moved. There's an M4 there though. Right, I'm going to try and get my front around. Did do some damage to that A20. There goes that guy. I could head into town, but have you seen what we got in town? An ELC, a 38NA, and an M5A1. Meanwhile, a KV-1S is in the centre path. Our KV-1 is in the valley. So this bodes well, considering it's a ruddy encounter game. Ah, well. First enemy tag spotted into town. A birch gun. What? What now? Does he have a KV-1S somewhere? Don't know where that is. Right, the best bet is to get forward and join that Lego so I'm not alone. Is it Lego or Largo? I never know. Slightly running wild at that. M7 light tank? Oh, of course that thing is a light tank now, isn't it? Weirdly. God, there's an ELC running around. Still dangerous. Oh, there's Stuart. Not as dangerous as perhaps it once was, but still dangerous. All the complaining about World of Tanks. Well, I hear tell that, you know, I know some console players. I know console isn't exactly peachy, and I know that they listen to their community even less than it feels like they listen to the Tanks PC community. There are certainly worse devs out there, you know, don't get me wrong, but it could be a hell of a lot better. Well, how was that not a tracking shot? Stop moving! Command you! Little ELC. There we go. Right. This is not exactly going to be a high damage game, but never mind. No, stop running away! No, never mind. There goes that damage. At least the console has the chieftain. The grass is always greener somehow, eh? Yeah, I don't get that. I don't get why PC doesn't have the chieftain. It's long been a mystery. Their KV-1S, I think, has just been there the entire game. So, I think it's fair to say their KV-1S was just terrible. Oh, which way are you going, little Stuart? Right, I can bounce a Stuart's shells, you know, a bit. Probably not hugely reliably, but... Also, that... Who said Jehovah? Okay, that is a Monty Python reference. Oh, Life of Brian. I haven't seen Life of Brian in so long. I can't even congratulate them on having made me laugh with their username anymore, sadly. Because, you know, no all chat. Well, that was my game. 325 damage. That was Blitz Ralach that got the Warhammer 40k. Tanks. I've lost so many credits just playing like more than you would think is possible playing a tier 4. Getting on for 150,000 credits lost. Although the majority was that game where I took the 47mm. I think we might also be getting, having said what I said about matchmaking at the start of that previous game, we're probably getting to that, more to that time of the evening where the matchmaking is going to be getting less and less good. So that also makes it a relatively good time to think about wrapping things up sooner rather than later. It's funny in Warships because everyone wanted to compare carriers, going off what Mao just said about RNG and artillery, and giving the casual player a shot at occasional ridiculousness. Yeah, in World Warships, that role is actually filled by battleships, really. A lot of people wanted to say, oh yeah, carriers are the artillery, but if you think about it from a game design perspective, actually they're quite different. They still have that same strike at a range capability, so arguably in that regard they are the same. But carriers take a hell of a lot more skill to play than artillery does. It requires a lot more concentration and a much greater appreciation of tactics and strategy to effectively play a carrier. You still see plenty of people playing carriers badly, of course. But there is a far bigger effectiveness gap between a bad carrier player and a good carrier player than a bad artillery player and a good artillery player. Because you're not hidebound by the same RNG, effectively. For carriers, there's still some RNG, but skill is player skill is much more relevant in the equation than the RNG is. Well, as I say, you know, there are still elements of RNG. Like, it's a wargaming game, everything has some RNG in it. There is no getting away from the RNG in some way, shape or form. Well, apparently I'm being... Whoa, Scout AMX. Found the KV-1. Wasn't actually spotted myself. Interestingly. Is it worth turning around to help defend the cap? I don't know. Maybe. It's one of those times when I need to be in too many places at once.
Your business is appreciated.
Oh, thank you for the follow, Smashed NZ. They said earlier on, and if you're here for tanks, I don't play tanks very often, but if you are interested in that, you can always check out my YouTube channel where I have a far greater amount of tanks content. Right, can I like make his gun yellow or something? And even with heat ammo, I'm seriously going to be... Oh, never mind. That was the Lee that penned me. The Lee's actually got a fairly decent gun for being a tier 4. The Lee gets a lot of hate, but there are a hell of a lot worse tanks at that tier. 6 damage. Right, oh, we've got a B1 coming up behind us as well. Yeah, this is this could be better. This could most certainly be better. And a Matilda. What happened to everybody? I think they all just died. I think that was it. Can't even just rush him, because he's still got backup, essentially. God, the amount of aiming I have to do, and I'm still not... No, his angle, I'm not going to pen his... if he unangles, maybe... Nope, I just whiffed past. Bearing in mind, this is my heat ammo. I'm having to aim for weak spots with my premium ammo. With the bloody terrible gun handling. And he knows it. And I'm dead. Hello, AT2. Oh, and a KV-1. Oh, God. Oh, I just ricocheted. Nope. Yeah, that was never going to go well. Not with the KV-1 there. Hell, even the Lee could have killed me. I suppose there's a possibility our KV-1 might carry, but he's facing their KV-1, both artillery. The DW2 maybe not so much an issue, but the Lee could still pen a KV-1. Why does anybody still play those football manager games? Is it just because they're the only game in town, so to speak? Because it does seem like you look at the football manager games as a genre, and I know there's only a couple of different like titles that just get iterated every so often, but wow, they've gotten bad. Like the EA ones especially, any kind of EA sports manager game has gotten particularly bad. I don't understand why people keep buying and playing those. They are, you know, completely indicative of how bad EA is as a company. Oh, there's the KV-1. If he puts a heat shell into that KV-1, he could do some serious nasty damage. Oh, T-34's actually gotten a pen. Okay, I think he's just using HE. This is still doable. I think I actually had one of the Football Manager, like the actual Football Manager series games for the PS2, was it? I can't remember why I bought it even, or was it a gift from somebody? I don't know. It might have been second-hand or something. I never could quite see the appeal. I mean, I like a good management game, but Okay, we found the T1. It wasn't really my kind of thing, but I suppose it's something you can still enjoy even if you don't necessarily enjoy football and you just like management style games. Do I follow Jim Sterling? I do indeed follow Jim Sterling. That T1. Anyway, it does seem like your best bet with a lot of the Football Manager games is like just play older ones, because the newer ones seem to be increasingly crappy because it's a captive audience as far as the game studio is concerned, so they get lazy and sloppy and start, you know, adding all the cynical exploitative shit that you wouldn't expect to see in free-to-play games. And even in that regard, you know, we talk about the cynical exploitative stuff. There are far worse companies out there than Wargaming in the free-to-play market. And then there are far worse games, far worse companies rather, in the AAA publisher market. So, you know, Wargaming does stuff occasionally where I call them out for it, but then you compare them to EA and it's like, well, you know, it could be worse. Much, much worse. I don't think Gaijin are quite that bad, but I don't like Gaijin's monetization policies as a whole, and yeah, they do try and nickel and dime you in ways that Wargaming hopefully never try and you know, pick up on. But yeah, Gaijin seems to be that classic example of a publisher slash developer that's made a game that a lot of people really like, except they then make a lot of really stupid decisions about that game. So yeah. Right, they're kind of doing the safe thing here, actually. I think the T-34, like, these guys are working quite well together. I think they're trying to bait these artillery out into the open, or else... Oh, there we go. That's the Sturmpanzer. We had the M37 acting almost as an early warning. So if both of them... Oh no, they derped each other. Okay, they actually derped each other in the face, so it would only be one tank on the cap, potentially, if the M41 is also there. Yeah, these guys have actually played alright. A nice carry by our KV-1 and T-34. Anyway, so there is the M41. We know exactly where they are. I wish I could pay these guys an in-game compliment, you know, with a... But, yeah... You can only give people reports in this game. You can't give them a digital thumbs up when you think they've played well. And just judging on the names, the account names, probably not English speakers. I mean, you never know. But I kind of like that feature in World of Warships, where, you know, you see someone playing well, you can give them a compliment, or if you see them playing really badly, you can give them a thumbs down. Okay, Super Ranger. Everybody go and follow Super Ranger. He plays tanks and things sometimes. There you go. I plugged your channel. The T-34 really needs to, like, having said this is going to be a carry, the T-34 might have given this away. He needs to get the reset, even if it costs him his tank. They're cutting this way, way too close. Oh, come on, less than 10 seconds. Come on, come on, come on. Come on. No, no, T-34, why? Why? Well, having said they carried the game, nope. That T-34 gave it away. Oh well. Yeah, I don't know. Super Ranger, I do actually have a Discord, except I've set up a Patreon only Discord. So yeah, I've set one up. I'm on so many other Discord servers, and I'm trying to keep track of so many Discord servers at the moment that it's one of the problems with Discord being completely free to anyone to make a Discord, is that everyone has made a Discord, and so how many do I even have? And it's not like you have a nice list like you do with TeamSpeak servers. yeah, it's like I might actually have to prune some of the Discords I've got. It'd be nice if you could hide some of them or shuffle some of them away to like a bookmarks list so you don't have them always displayed. But yeah, that's one of the things I don't like about Discord. Why do you not know of that? Well, it is. I'd set it up for the $75 people, so that because I mean, trying to move away from Skype because Skype has been incredibly unreliable at times in terms of tier 6 game. In terms of like even just me being able to log in, or I've had periods in the past where it's like, hey, it looks like you've logged in, except you can't actually talk to anybody or message anybody. Skype at the moment is doing a thing, at least it has been the last couple of days, where it looks like you've logged in, you load your contact list, and then you notice it's got the little blue spinny logo, which actually indicates it hasn't probably logged in at all. And it just sits there and does that forever. So, yeah, trying to move everyone to Discord. But keep Skype as a backup for those I want to do voice comms with. I might even create a separate kind of wider Discord server at some point, but I don't know, it feels a little unnecessary because it really would just be duplicating what you can do on the Patreon website already. You can already leave messages for other people. You can already leave messages for me. You can comment under videos. I don't know. There doesn't seem to be any particular, like I've not had a bunch of people say, hey, why isn't there a Discord for this? So, I don't know. I mean, I could do, I guess. But it's just one more thing to keep track of, so. It was actually after you had to drop your... We should chat afterwards at some point, by the way, Super Ranger. Oh, T67 drowned. Well, that's definitely going to be a loss on this map. Yeah, we should chat and I can find out what you're doing with your Patreon support level kind of thing, whether I need to open up an extra space or, you know, because it would be sensible for you to save some money is a thing. But on the other hand, I like money, so you know I'm trying to be fair and say that's sensible. But on the other hand, I need to pay rent as well. So anyway, I don't know where I'm going with that. Just it's work. I'm spotted. It's nice if you feel that you can and you still want to. But anyway, yeah, we'll talk about it later. Oh, how am I still spotted? I don't know. Or was that just a guess shot? That might have been just a guess shot. It's fine now. I've got a light tank camo, you know, bonus, right? Oh. Right, that's dead. Stuart way out in the open. I've only lost most of my hit points already, so that's fine. Nashorns and I actually got that kill. Nashorns and Type 64s and M44s. Oh joy. Sure thing, Super Ranger. Okay, I'll check Skype later on then, if I can get it to work. If not, you might actually have to ping me in Discord. Wow, Spot, says the KB1S who's hiding in bushes. Basically base camping on Kampinovka. Yes, you're definitely someone I'm going to be paying lots of attention to. There's a very clearly skilled player. Oh, they've also got a Lafayette as well. Yeah, this is going to be a real fun match. Real fun. What happened to the duck camo? There is no duck camo. It's not in the client. Or if it is in the client, it's not available to buy. So, yeah, I don't know. There's no explanation as to why it's not available. That I've seen, anyway. I have asked. Not gotten a response, but I have asked. So, your guess is as good as mine. Unless they're holding it for some special event. I don't know. And, okay, well, that was just a completely blind shot. I haven't been spotted in ages. I mean, where else am I going to sit? I guess. Right, I don't have a lot of choice. We're going to have to fall back from that position. We're just going to randomly HE into the bushes. Although, I think we've lost this anyway, probably. Yeah, we've lost this. It seems somehow unlikely we can come back from this position. Is there any of that? Wow, there's just like the very most top part of his turret to shoot at. And apparently that was enough. Right. Well, somehow I have 2 kills, 161 damage, 2 kills. Seems about right for the AMX-40. Actually, let's just stick with the HE shells. Oh, it's the Type 64. Hello, Type 64. Hey, he got an HE penetration. Did he just... he just flipped himself. Okay. I don't know how they did that. That was quite funny. Alright then. Sure. Yep, that happened. I honestly don't know how they did that. At least it was an entertaining ending, right? Whoops. Yeah, I think it was an artillery shell that actually killed him, but yeah, that was... I don't know. Artillery can't blast your tank over, though. I honestly, like, did he try a sharp turn, went over a bump at the same time? I have no idea. Not a clue. He was so surprised his tank fell over. Right, and wow, we were, yes, amazing as a team. Fully half the team did, like, nothing or almost nothing. And I had the top score, somehow. It's so good not being top tier. You get to have so much impact on the game. Yeah. So yeah, Anders Van, I'm going to be wrapping this up relatively soon anyway, because we're starting to get bottom tier a lot more. So, I think it's been a little while since we had a top tier game at this point. And I can only stand to play over and over again in tier 5 and tier 6 games for so long. Anyway, thank you for tuning in though. Hopefully you have enjoyed yourself. This hasn't exactly been an entirely serious stream, but it's hard to really have an entirely serious stream and play tier 4 over and over again. I'll try logging in afterwards, Super Ranger, and you might have to PM me on Discord instead. I don't actually know if as I said, Skype's just not being reliable at the moment. Just gonna drive down the little lane. Don't want to knock over all the fences. That would be rude. That would be terribly rude. Right. What do we think we might see in the town? Well, possibly their tier 5 heavies. The Hellcat's more likely to be on the other side, as is the Type 64. I am not running down over the field. That's just not happening. Although the Matilda's trying it for some reason. Yeah, we'll see how we go. I'll actually load up HE to begin with. Helleborn. I've been a little bit tempted by Helleborn, but it's one of these things, it's like, well, there's so many games and there's so little time. And Helleborn seems like the kind of game where you would have to put in a decent amount of time to actually understand how to play it and what's going on. So, yeah. I did spend a bit of time looking at a demo for a game the other day. Fly's done a video on it already. That's 303 Squadron, which there's a PR firm or whatever that just sends me unsolicited keys for Usually games I'm not interested in. Like I've been sent keys for all of the car mechanic games at this point. It feels like every time there's an update for Car Mechanic Simulator, I get sent a key for it. And yeah, it's sort of not dissimilar 303 Squadron. Part of it is tinkering around with the innards of the plane, but as an actual experience of flying around fighting in planes, it's not very good. So I'm debating whether actually doing a video on it, because it would essentially be going, here is the demo. It feels pretty terrible for the actual flying around shooting at things. As in, Warplanes is way better. Never mind things like War Thunder. Whoa, 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 Churchill 3. We can kind of resist his shells to some extent, but if he starts spamming the APCR, not so much. Right, if I can keep him retracked. There we go, I can at least get the assistance damage. It's my best bet right now. Excellent. Okay, he wasn't firing APCR, which is interesting. I had a decent chance of bouncing the AP. So KV1, I just noticed that's our FD in the corner there. It's our Bert. And it's also like, is it fair to judge something that's a demo like that? I always have this particular things with like, on the rare occasions I've had pre-release games of any kind. It's kind of harder to judge because you don't know what's going to be in the final release or whatever. Right, so sort of counting on backup appearing at this stage. Whoop! Well, that was a terrible shot. Oh, thank you, KV1. Thank you. No, come on! I went in the track. I should have zoomed in to aim that, I guess. That was my bad. The waste of a heat shell. Right, do we think we have enough speed? Do we have enough oomph to survive the Type 64 and the firing squad that inevitably awaits us? Because, you know, this is a downhill stretch. Type 64's firing APCR is not exactly uncommon, but once we get shifting, we really can get shifting. Well, comparatively speaking, there are faster tanks at the lower tiers, of course, but a downhill duck is still a reasonably fast machine. And then inevitably comes the part where you have to go uphill again. So sadly, it only works for so long. If only Wargaming would put maps in the game where everything, you know, every possible direction took you downhill. The AMX-40 would be great. It might slightly break the laws of physics, but it's fine. It's a computer game. We don't care about such things. Just give me always downhill maps, and I'll be happy. And also massive buffs to the AMX-40, and then I'll also be happy. Can I reload before somebody else steals the kill? That's always the question. There we go. No, Type 64 is actually going to get away because it's completely balanced. Completely balanced. Oh, there we go. The souffle nailed him. Right, where's this Marder 38? We're actually going to keep the HE loaded. And would this guy please not, please, 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 can we not do this? Oh, he's ahead of me somewhere. Yeah, he's definitely got a better rate of fire than I do. Oh, well, hit the gun, never mind. Somebody else got the kill. Should be my spotting, though. Right, I think we'll do one more, and then I'll call it there, because we're getting on for like 200,000 credits lost. It's just I've been slowly losing money in each game, and partly it's the coffee, and partly it's the fact that you have to use heat shells, because your heat shells are just about as good as some other tier 4 tanks' regular shells. And we get a top tier game for our last game, so actually that somewhat bodes well. We'll see. It might be completely terrible even though we're top tier, but you never know. It might not. I'm actually going to get to do the rare thing after this of hosting Circon. I mean, I expect most of you are going to tune into him anyway, but yeah. Oh, I don't think that one was YouTube material, Foo. I don't really think... I mean, I might just put up this whole VOD, honestly. I don't think any one individual game has been particularly YouTube-worthy, to be honest. Hey, M36, thank you very much. Or M36, or... M3G. Why do I keep saying 6 when it's a G? We'll try this time. We'll try going on this side. I did say most, LaFeel. I did say most. I didn't say absolutely every single one of you is, of course, going to be going to Circon, or else. No, that definitely would be an assumption. I'm getting shot by a BT-7 already. Well, that's a tank I don't hugely have to worry about in terms of its firepower. He says getting penned by the BT-7's APCR ammo. But it's fine though. Your armor's worth so much when you're top tier. No, wait, no, a tier 3 could just load premium ammo and pen you frontally. No, okay then, forget I said anything. I mean, you know, it's fine. It's fine that I should be able to get penned by something, but at the same time, it kind of gives lie to the reason of like why so much about this tank is terrible. It's on the basis of, oh hey, it's got good armor. Well, not so much as you'd notice. A lot of the times. Well, at least there's plenty of T-29s for me to beat up on. I don't know why the T-29s are so popular. It's not like they're a good tank. We've seen a fair few of those when we've been top tier. Oh, there's still something else down there. Right, because we're top tier though, I think we might actually be able to get to use our armor a little bit more. Can we pen the DW2 without using premium? I think as long as he... Oh, the Marder's down there. That actually might be a problem. I mean, this is stuff firing at me at range, and that helps. You know, anything with any kind of armor is always going to be more effective at range. Because, you know, the penetration fall off over distance and the fact that it's going to be harder for them to hit the weak spots or whatever that they want to. So this, having said what I said at the start, this is one of those situations when the armor is actually somewhat effective. But, you know, we're top tier, so there's that. It's about the only time your armor is going to be moderately effective. Right, where are you, little fella? Yeah, I think we'll let the B2 go first. Oh, there's the Marder. It's actually behind a rock relative to us right now, so that's fine. There is going to maybe be a bit of crossfire from there, but we've also got a strong force of tanks that just pushed up that way, so... There he goes. There's the Lego, there's the Panzer IV-D. The Lego's actually got a somewhat dangerous gun for its tier. Man, if this thing had a gun as, you know, like even something like the Lego's gun. There he goes. That's actually, I think, overall one of the slightly more effective top tier 4 tanks. Though I don't know, I could be completely wrong. Anyway, so we only lost 2 machines. 15-2, bit of a wipe. It's a tier 4 game though. It's when you get results like this in tier 8 and tier 9 games that it gets a little bit disheartening. Anyway, at least that time we were on the winning side, and that's another mastery. And that time it was actually a mastery on a win as well. So that's nice. We've had 2 aces this match, this stream rather. And so to end with an ace, actually, that's that feels like a good place to end the stream, because you know it's not going to get better than that probably. Tia Maria, that's her name. Thank you very much for the follow. So yeah, we're going to wrap things up there. If you missed any of it, you know, I will put this up on YouTube. I'll put this VOD up so you can take a look see. Although I'll have to. I haven't been locally recording it, so I'm going to have to fiddle around with the Twitch editor, unfortunately, which is a little bit of a fankle, but never mind. So thank you all for tuning in, those of you who have, and you know, next time I stream I probably will be doing warships, but as I said earlier, if you want more tanks content, go check out my YouTube, because there's plenty of it there. So have a good evening wherever the rest of you are. Well, that made sense. Have a good evening wherever you are even, and I shall see you next time.